All right, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to wait just about another 30 seconds to get everyone connected before we get started. All right, so good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for joining us for Love Data Week in our web series. Today, we're joined by Adam and Diana, who are going to give us some insight into analytics in Brightspace. So Adam, it's over to you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our presentation titled How to Unlock Student Success with Brightspace Learning Analytics. Today, we're going to explore how to leverage the power of data to enhance teaching and maybe even improve student outcomes. So here's a quick, where are we? So here's a quick overview of what we'll cover today. Start with real quick introductions. Then we'll delve into the concept of learning analytics. We'll take you through accessing and interpreting Brightspace data. And finally, we'll discuss kind of how to turn this data into actionable insights to improve teaching and support student success. So this is very sensitive. Diana, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Diana Voss. I'm with the Division of Information Technology. I'm interested in hearing about how people use data on our campus, and I'm also interested in helping promote Brightspace usage to help us connect to other systems where student data is being kept, so that we can help Braden's team with predictability modeling for student success, and also connect over to other systems such as EB, Navigate, and other things for student success. I have been here at Stony Brook for a very long time, and it has been an absolute pleasure to serve this campus, and I'm grateful to Adam for accepting my idea of, hey, Adam, I've got an idea. What if we did this together today? So Adam.
Cool. I'm Adam Pilipshen. I'm the Assistant Director of Assessment, Evaluation, and Research inside the Division of Student Affairs, part of what's called the CRAFT team. CRAFT standing for, let's see if I get it right, Communication, Research, Assessment, Fundraising, and Technology. Serve under the leadership of Ahmed Balazi and Sonia Garrido. My role involves helping the units of student affairs use data to improve student support, related outcomes. I have a background in instructional systems design. I'm currently pursuing a PhD in the learning sciences. But we are, like Diana mentioned, we are interested in you. So if you want to unmute or type in the chat, what you're hoping to get out of this presentation. So you can probably direct us a little bit. So if you have, any specific interests and stuff like that, any questions, we can, if we don't cover it directly, we can do it towards the end when we have a more open Q&A. So let me see where I can find my actual chat. Excellent. Okay, so thanks, Mariana. Everything on the agenda is perfect. Awesome. So what is learning analytics? So in a nutshell, it's the process of measuring, collecting, analyzing, and reporting data about learners and their learning environments with the goal to kind of understand and optimize learning and the environments in which they occur. Brightspace specifically has a lot of tools where you can get data out of the system to kind of inform instructional strategies, whether it's a traditional class or you're doing like what Camp Res does and have an organization where you're doing training to RAs. There's a lot of insights that you can get out of Brightspace on how students are interacting with the data, so you can kind of optimize your content and also kind of tailor learning experiences to your students. So here's just an overview of just some of the tools that we're going to cover. After the presentation, I believe the PowerPoint is going to be posted, so these links will be there. So it'll take you to Brightspace's site where you can learn more about these tools. But so specifically, we're going to be looking at the course overview widget, which gives you a snapshot of course access, overall class performance, things like aggregated discussion activity, the course content statistics to see how many students are accessing materials, how often, how long they're spending on them. We can also show you how to track this, track discussion activity, rubrics, quiz performance, and details. So now it's going to be a little bit more of a live demonstration. I have a sample course that we set up with some kind of like mock data in it, so we can kind of show you where you would want to kind of where you would need to click to get some of these insights. So I will switch over. Diane is kind of the expert at this, so she's going to direct me
Yes,
if
so
I'm kind
I'm
of
gonna
clicking on.
yeah, so as something in the spring, we introduced the course overview widget, which appears in, I believe, everyone's courses by default. So Adam, if you could please open up our demo site. And once you scroll down, you should see this on your home pages in your courses. If you don't, we can tell you later how to add it, but I believe by default it is there. And if anybody, finds out differently, please let us know. But so course overview appears and you can see how many people came to your course today, and activities they've done in the class. As long as they're Brightspace activities, you can track it. So Adam, do you want to go into class engagement?
Sure thing.
So Adam, what did you discover when you were in this section?
Right now, this is like a sample course that we have set up. We're experimenting it with for certain areas of student affairs. So we have a whole lot of student affairs people in here. So you're going to see a lot of empty data. But this kind of gives you like a quick little overview of, grade distributions of anything, the overall grades of your students in the course. As well as line by line, you can see the individuals that are in the course. Specifically, just right now, looking at their overall grade, when they last visited the course, how many discussion threads they started themselves, and how many replies to peers. So if we click on, let's say, one of these, you can get a little bit more specific. And so we're looking at this individual's activity. One of my colleagues who was nice enough to, hey, can you open this course and click on this and click on this? So we can see her activity in here. Okay. So Diana, before I move on, anything else you wanted to show with the widget?
No, but Mariana is asking if the overview can be customized. There are sections where you can customize, but it does not happen on the home page. And we're going to show that off in a few seconds.
Thank you.
Sure.
You're welcome.
Okay. So there's also class progress. So up at the top menu, you'll see class progress. And here you can kind of customize this one a little bit vis-a-vis the settings button up here. But this is showing, how much content within a specific how much content within that specific area has been completed. Right now, I don't have any objectives in this course. Logins. I believe, Diana, is this logins for Brightspace itself or the course?
I believe that is for the course.
Okay. And then if they have any grades in here, but you can customize this one by clicking on settings over here and then content
See, I
summary.
lied. Adam, I lied. It says login
Yeah.
history, last 30 days, displays the number of logins to the system for the last 30 days. So the nice thing about this is that it actually gives you the details about what the data is that you're seeing without you having to click on a help menu to say, hey, what does
Yep.
this mean?
Yep. And in most of the screens that we'll be showing you, like when we go into like quiz statistics, there's usually always a button there that will explain what the data is.
Mariana
Next,
has
yeah,
a question.
sure.
Thanks, guys. So I'm looking at the
Mhm.
screen on my class while you're
Yeah.
like working on yours.
Mhm.
Now it says in yours and in mine, it says no objectives. Was I supposed to put Diana, I don't know, maybe this is a question for you or somebody, like, did I make a mistake and not list my course objectives in the right place?
We have not implemented that feature yet of Brightspace, which is why you don't have that yet.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Easy enough answer.
Adam, I'm sorry, I distracted you.
Yeah.
And if you can go back into settings and show everybody the different options.
Sure, of course. So content completion summary. So how many required content topics each student has completed. So anytime you put an object in there, you can delineate if it's required or not. This next one shows their completion of that, their path along that, login history for the system, and grade performance.
So I don't care. I personally don't care about login history. So Adam, if you click down the drop-down box, what other options do
Sure.
I have? So if you click the drop-down box and you click replace,
Yeah.
you can see these are all the different options that you have in Brightspace to choose that you can see the data. So personally, for me, login information isn't, I mean, if they logged into Brightspace, that's nice. But I want to know in my class, for example, I love checklists. Anybody that knows me knows how I talk about the checklist all the time. So I want to know how many students in my class are completing the checklist. So if you select checklist completion summary and then hit save and close, it's an instant update to the information that you're seeing. So in this particular instance, we don't have any checklist data. That's fine. But if I did, it would show me how many items. So the really nice thing about the system is that the information is instant. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for download. We do know that depending on the size of the class, it sometimes input can be take time consuming, but overall, it's a pretty quick response.
Cool. Next thing we wanted to show you was the course content statistics. So I'm going to just return to the content, clicking on table of contents. And then on table of contents, there's related tools. So if I hit the, what do they call it, downward facing chevron and click view reports. So this is just showing the various modules in the course, how many individuals in the course that content is made available to. So I created a little module right here called Intro to Statistics for the purposes of this workshop, and shared it with 5 people. So that's where you can see, 5 people accessed it. It's available, excuse me, to 5 people, and 5 people access these various folders. So if I go ahead and click on that, then for this specific topic, within the specific folder, Introductory to Statistics, I can see the number of visits per individual, the total time spent and average time spent. Just kind of, be careful. I wouldn't necessarily use this to be like, hey, this student spent an hour in here, because there's the whole making a sandwich thing. A student can be in it and then walk away from their computer or device somewhere else, make a sandwich, and come back to it. And then it could register 15 or 20 minutes when they're actually in front of their computer for a couple of minutes. So let's go back.
So Adam, quick question. So, okay, I'm looking in my class. It doesn't look like what you're showing, but what I see is I can see how many users visited the readings.
Mhm.
So I get what you're saying about the sandwich situation, but if
Yeah.
only 3 users visited that particular reading for this week, can I safely
Yeah.
assume that they did not read?
Interestingly enough, that's kind of people over in Camp Res, Richard and Elise, they showed me their course, and they kind of use it in a similar fashion like that. They when they run into some sort of I don't want to say an issue with the student, but hey, shouldn't the student know this? Then they look at, hey, did they even click on that? So
Uh,
who knows? If
thank-
it's something where it's only accessible in the course and they actually have to click on it to get it, then assumption could be that they didn't read it. But sometimes if you list all your readings in your syllabus, or you put all your readings in like a different folder or stuff like that, where students can access it without having to click on a specific link in Brightspace, then it's quite possible that it doesn't register a click for that, but they're reading it somewhere else.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see if I, okay. So again, with regards to kind of course content, it's really just how students are kind of in mass accessing the materials, number of times material was viewed, time spent on viewing materials, with that kind of caveat that can be walking away.
Sue,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Adam. Sue has a question.
sure. Let's see.
Hi,
Yeah,
Adam.
sure. Yeah.
I think you're going to get to what my question is. If I have a link to an outside source, like a YouTube video, or if they have to go out of my course, then does the timer count that or not?
What it will do is it will track the click, but anytime if it deviates away from the course, obviously if it's like a 10-minute video or something like that that's outside of the course, it's not. If it's something that's embedded, I'm not 100% certain. I'll need to test that, but it might. Meaning, if the video using the embed code, and here's where the Diana and the experts that do it, and also CELT could probably, with the instructional design expertise that they have, probably answer that a little bit better. But if it's embedded on a specific page where, hey, that video renders right in Brightspace, then however long they're actually on that page will count towards that time. But if it's something that redirects them out, it's probably not going to count the time because it's directing them away from the page.
So with that said, would it be considered a best practice to embed the videos? Or
It kind of I would say all depends. But a lot of instructors, and here's where we go into instructional design, which is not my expertise. Awesome people on the call.
Yeah, I'm saying if anybody, I was about to say, if anybody in
Yeah.
South wants to jump in and
Yeah.
feel free.
But
I see you guys.
But maybe we can chat. Kristen Hall said, yeah, she would recommend that. But maybe we can kind of address that at the end. I put the contact information for CELT at the end for design stuff like that, because they really are the experts, and that with regards to like what is the best way to set up a course. I'm just a data guy, just telling you like how we can get data out of the system and what we can do with it.
Oh, sorry, I was just
Oh, no
curious
worries. This is great
because
questions.
I
These are
want to
great
make
questions.
sure the
Yeah.
data that I'm seeing,
Yeah.
is
Yep.
is correct. And so that was my thought. It might be
Yeah.
4 seconds, but if the 4 seconds is one click and then they watch the video for an hour,
Exactly.
misrepresents. That's what I was thinking. So yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no worries at all. All right. So unfortunately, we got 10 minutes left and 3 more tools to cover. So I'm going to go a little bit quicker. So the next was just discussions. So discussions, I'm clicking on discussions, and there's a tab right in discussions called statistics. And then this is overall by just user in the course, aggregated by all the specific, let's say, forms and topics that you have across everything. So this will show for each individual how many threads they authored, how many threads they replied to, how many they've read, including their own. Again, read, air quotes. It just means they clicked on it. And then, I'm not doing anything with moderation in this course because you can set up discussion boards so that, things have to be approved before they're added. And there's also a feature where, students can uprate or, upvote or downvote stuff. So that's what those would be here if you're using those features. But if you want to go into a specific forum or topic, I'm just going to click on forums and topics. And now I can look at this discussion forum that I have, that there are 4 threads, three replies, and then anything that's pinned or unapproved. Let's say, can I go in a little bit specifically? Okay, so then for this specific in this specific one, I can see by user when I actually click into it. I can see in the specific forum that, let's see, Kim posted her initial post, and then she responded to 2 of her peers, and including hers, she clicked on a total of 6. So that's essentially it with discussions. Sometimes you saw instructors, puts like a Q&A or ask questions about the syllabus, stuff like that. So then you can see, which, let's say, posts are getting the most activity to kind of guide where you need to intervene a bit. Next, wanted to show rubric statistics. Right now I'm showing the easiest way to get into some of these tools, like Brightspace. There's like 3 different ways sometimes to get to the same tool, but I'm gonna foray into the course admin. And if I can find, let me go, my rubrics. So I set up a rubric when I was grading those mock discussion posts. So I can go ahead and view statistics for this specific rubric that I set up. And all your instructional designers, don't laugh at me, please, for the rubric that I set up. So I can look at the competencies. So I set up this specific rubric on grading this discussion activity. And if I click on actions, I should be able to see it. So obviously you wouldn't use criteria like overall level, like level 1, level 2, level 3. Sometimes it's like not meeting expectations, things like that. So this is just generally, I was super nice, and everyone overall, the composite of me using the rubric, everyone that I've graded is level 4, whatever that means. But I can look at the specific criteria statistics to see, clarity and accuracy. Students, 100% of the students that I graded are meeting that, or at that level. Depth of analysis and explanation. Whatever your criteria is, you can start to use the rubric to kind of tease out in mass where the strengths and weaknesses, maybe for some intervention later on or some follow-up training. And then you can look at the individual statistics for the students. So here, level 4, score of 15, level 4, score of 15. So That's another way for you to, if you give, let's say, a writing assignment and you're using a rubric to kind of dispassionately, grade those things, and then you want to kind of turn that into some sort of insight of how can I use this, then you can go back to the rubric and see which criteria needs to be addressed the most. Finally, I don't know why this is my favorite, but quiz statistics. So a couple of ways to get this quiz statistics. I'm here, I'm just going to click on quizzes. I'm going to find a quiz that I know has some results for. I'm going to hit the down chevron and go statistics. Here just gives you an overall of kind of like the distribution of scores for the overall class, the standard deviation, letting you know how overall spread out the data is. You can see down here how each one of those students did on this quiz. Then you can look at question stats. This goes a little bit more into how those questions are actually performing. And this is so standard deviation, how much, what they did on that, deviates from the mean. There's something called discrimination index. And what this is, it's kind of like a correlation between how that student did on that question and their overall score. So it's calculated by comparing the performance of the top, I think it's like 27% of students on a quiz from the bottom. And it's essentially subtracting the percentage of the low performers of the quiz itself who answered that question correctly from the high performers who answered it correctly. So a positive value means that a good discrimination, the higher someone scores on the test, the more likely they're to get that question right. If you see something here that is a 0, that means it can't really discriminate because everyone got it right. If you see a negative number, what that means is those that scored lowest on the overall test were getting that question right for some reason. So you can use this to kind of gauge, did I word something wrong, or kind of, go back to it there. And then you can look at those specific questions by clicking on question details. And again, you can get the discrimination index for each one. The point biserial is kind of like a Pearson's correlation, where the closer the number is to 1 shows a stronger correlation between getting it right and a high overall let's say score on the quiz. But some people use this to kind of like, hey, how are these questions performing? To grouping things into, hey, these are difficult questions, these are easy questions. The people at CELT can do this a lot better than I, but you can then start to do question pools. And using things like the discrimination index, you can create question pools where every student gets a slightly different quiz, but they're pulling from questions that are the same difficulty level, so that the student is not just getting this test easy one and this one's getting a different. By using these statistics, you can start to kind of craft things a little bit better, and also identify like what content may need to be refocused on, because students are always scoring this way on these quizzes. So I
Adam,
know,
we forgot to show one more thing. Can you just quick, I know we're
Yeah.
almost out of time,
Yeah.
so just
Yeah.
go back. Can you go back to the course overview on the homepage, please?
Yeah.
One thing that we forgot to show, scroll down, see where
Mhm.
it says class engagement, if you can please click on that. So if you right now you see 44 students have visited this course. If you move your mouse over the 44,
Mm.
that's that's how many people have not. And then when you hit email class,
Yeah.
you can actually contact the students who haven't interacted in the class yet, and or you can email the entire class. So in my class, I have, and I can't show my class because it's real students. But in my class, I have a fake student. So I wanted to, you can, if I showed it to you, you would see like the student, you can email selected students. So course overview is, it's a nice tool to use in that way. So that's something we wanted to make sure that everybody knew about as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of features in there. So like how this data can be used. So that's kind of like one of the points on one of these slides, like targeted communication. You can see how students are doing on a specific thing, create a subset of that, and then just kind of communicate with them directly. You can also like we noted with the quizzes, the rubrics, identify, knowledge gaps and kind of adjust instruction. You can also use some of the quiz statistics for like formative assessment purposes to kind of gauge students, prior knowledge, and then craft custom materials for them later on. Ideally, all of this is how you can optimize, the learning environment and delivery. So,
And just so
yeah,
I can jump in, so one of the
sure.
reasons why I asked Adam to be a part of this was also because all courses use Brightspace, or we hope they do, right? But Brightspace can also be used but it's being used by student affairs for campus res, and we use it for our student employees. So it's not just about course expectations. It can be used to help educate, like whatever you want it to be used for, and the data that you get back is meaningful. So like in our area, we use Brightspace quizzes to see if students are meeting certain competencies. We ask them certain questions. We even have them build Brightspace courses, and that helps us track their growth as well. So it's not just for classes. And that's why I asked Adam to partner with me, because I wanted to have a different perspective from the traditional class.
Absolutely. I know the Career Center is pushing into this area a lot. Camp Res is us in Craft are looking to kind of play a part in that, specifically for the types of data that we can get out, and hopefully, piggyback on some of the awesome work that Career Center is doing with micro credentialing, especially if we're going to be training, student employees and stuff like that. They should be able to get something out of the training that they have to go through, other than a job, which is nice. But any questions, you can feel free to email myself or Diana. Again, though, if it's about like course design and best practices and things like that, the CELT people are the experts. We're just here to kind of, well, I'm just here to help you like potentially, work with data. But anything related to course design, please contact them. But any questions, please shout them out, or just shoot us an email, or we'll see you tomorrow at the Wong Center.
Okay, I know we're a little past time, so if anyone has to drop off, these recordings will be shared with you. If anyone has any last minute questions before we close out. All right, so I want to say thank you to our presenters, Diana and Adam. And as Adam said, we will have an open house tomorrow in Wong Theater from 12 to 2. We'll have some light refreshments. We're going to have some fun games. We're going to have very engaging data to keep you very excited about Love Data Week. So hope to see you tomorrow. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.